For those of you who are new to the Spokane Sangha, the language inviting the chime to sing is intentional. We don't hit the chime, we don't strike the chime, because we are really endeavoring to reduce violence in our language, in our tone, in our attitude. So we invite it to sing. I'm going to do it one more time. Friends, I'd like to encourage you to take the lead of some of our beautiful Sangha members in Soul Center who are already lying down. And take a nice relaxation today, a nice relaxing pose today if it's available to you. And go ahead and close your eyes if that's also available to you today. You know, sometimes closing your eyes can be a pretty vulnerable thing. There are many, many community members who, as part of their practice, are trying to unlearn some hypervigilance. And so closing the eyes can be really, really vulnerable. Honor yourself where you are, meet yourself where you are. Just try to encourage a spirit of relaxation. I'd like to share with you a sentiment of metta. Metta means loving kindness. Loving kindness is one of the limitless qualities that we cultivate in this practice. This one reads, may you make someone's day by showing up. May you make someone's day by showing up. Take a moment to let that settle in the mind and maybe tap on the door to your heart. And maybe you can even reframe it. I am making someone's day by showing up. And I can attest to the truth of that because you're showing up, and that keeps me from talking to myself, which I do all the time. I'm quite talented at it. So it's really lovely to be able to talk to myself and by extension, talk to you. So thank you. You've made my day. Friends, in the Spokane Sangha, one of the things that we do that's really unique is we take Buddhist practices and principles and we explore them for an entire month. For the year 2026, we are exploring the foundation of Buddhism. It is the first teaching of the Buddha, the Four Noble Truths, and the Noble Eightfold Path. In January, we explored the first noble truth. There is discomfort in life. There's also comfort. And I like to bring the two together because even when I'm experiencing comfort, if I'm not careful, my source of comfort can become uncomfortable. If I try to cling to it, if I try to grasp at it, if I try to hold on too tightly. And at the same time, we know all about discomfort. The second noble truth in Buddhism, what we've been exploring for the whole month of February, is what are the causes and conditions of my discomfort and my comfort? What are the causes and conditions of my pain and my pleasure? What happens in my mind when I experience praise? And what happens when I'm the recipient of blame? So, looking at the causes and conditions of opposing experiences that define a very human life is what this practice is all about. And on Wednesdays, we've been exploring famous teachings by enlightened individuals. And for many, many weeks, we have been exploring an ancient teaching. It's called The Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And a bodhisattva in traditional Buddhism is simply refers to an individual who has died, who has been enlightened, and who chooses to be reborn in human form to help alleviate misery, to keep teaching, to keep healing, to keep lifting people up. And this particular work was created by an 8th century monk. His name was Shantideva. This particular work reads like a very long poem with 4-lined verses. And we're beginning a new chapter today. And the chapter is called Developing Concentration. And this is also cultivating meditation. So we're going to be talking about this for many, many weeks. How to cultivate concentration. How to use that concentration to then examine the conditions in our lives. So when we experience anything that's pleasurable, we don't take it for granted. We don't go unconscious about it. We don't get habitually reactive. We take a minute to go, oh, look at this. I'm enjoying this. What are the conditions surrounding my enjoyment? And we're also not here to sabotage our enjoyment, like, ooh, this is good. And maybe I shouldn't feel good. Yikes, maybe this isn't such a good thing. No, it's okay to feel pleasure. It's okay to enjoy your life. It's okay to be comfortable. Just know that it's impermanent, it's temporary. So then when the discomfort comes along, we're not upended. We're not freaked out like, oh no, I just want to go back to that comfort. I just want to avoid all of this discomfort. The invitation is to, look at all the conditions that I can understand here about myself. And this discomfort is also impermanent. It's subject to change. And before I know it, I'm comfortable again. And then I'm not. And then I am. So let's take Shantideva at his word. We're just going to read a couple of verses today. And in the quiet of the mind, see what comes up and see what comes alive. This chapter begins with a reminder of what we have been doing previously, which is to explore our effort. In order to grow, in order to heal, in order to understand ourselves, we have to make some kind of effort. We can't just sit here and wait for the revelations to come. We have to participate in life, which now speaks to the sentiment of metta today. Showing up, it takes effort. And in that effort, you have the potentiality to make someone's day. So just remember, wise effort matters. Shantideva says, having generated effort in this way, I should place my mind in concentration. For a person whose mind is distracted, is trapped within the fangs of the delusions. Distractions do not arise for those who abide in physical and mental solitude. Therefore, I should forsake the worldly life and abandon all disturbing thoughts. For those of you who have been practicing with me, know that if Shantideva were alive today, he and I would have some words. We'd have some fiery, delicious conversations. So let's remember this is an ancient text. This represents a culture and an attitude from the 8th century. And yet, there's an element here that is alive and well today, which is to abandon worldly life. And that's great for a monk to be able to say that. So remember, Shantideva was an individual who intentionally decided to give up all of his worldly goods. He was, by the way, a lot like the Buddha in that he was from a wealthy family, and he gave it all up to become a monk. And good for him. But not everybody is going to do that. So not everybody can give up worldly things. And I would like to just plant the seed and as an invitation, let that be okay. If you're part of the world, that's okay. You don't have to throw it all off in order to become spiritual or enlightened. In fact, you can use your worldly attachments as opportunities to understand yourself deeper, to wake up. Today, the key word that I invite you to pay attention to is distraction. Another word in the context of a recovery community for distraction is negative habit energy, which is the term we use for all addiction. Negative habit energy. So, a gentle inquiry to stimulate a concentrated meditation is to simply ask yourself, what are my 3 key distractions? Identify them. And then notice. Notice if you're judging yourself for the distraction. Notice if you're making excuses. Notice if you're rationalizing. Notice if you're telling yourself stories about these distractions. Just take note. Become an anthropologist for your own mind, observing. For my first person experience, I just want to give you an example and then we're going to go into a little bit of silence. But I have a propensity to be anxious. So when anxiety visits me, my attention goes into a deficit and my thoughts scatter, my energy scatters. I have a hard time focusing on one thing. And my go to distraction is I open up the refrigerator. Like somehow it's a magical porthole for all of my anxiety to go away. And there have been times where I catch myself and I open up the refrigerator and I look inside and I'm like, yeah, my understanding doesn't live here. And I close the refrigerator. And I just notice like that's a quirky thing about me. That's just what I do. That's one of the things I distract myself to. So then I bring myself to a different energy. Now, when I'm anxious, sitting still is not available to me. Again, when I'm anxious, I have a tendency to have an attention deficit. So I have to move. I have to go from one activity to the next in sort of short little spurts. I'm channeling a hummingbird or a bumblebee. I just got to buzz around. And that's me. So, what I do when I come into this awareness is rather than judge myself for not being able to sit still, I just rechannel that energy and acknowledge that this is what I need. And if I want to bring my mind into more concentration, then I create an activity that encourages my focus. For example, I have an indoor garden of houseplants and I start to wash them. I bring them to the sink and I give them a warm shower and I tend to them. It's physical, it's active, it slows me down, it's nurturing, it's a way to channel my nervous, anxious energy from a distracted, scattered, unskillful energy to something much more concentrated and healing. Another thing that I do is I organize. I dump out my junk drawer. I organize art supplies. I give myself 15 minutes, something to concentrate this energy. And then when I notice when I slow down in that, then I can sit, then I can breathe. What are your distractions? What are the causes and conditions of your distractions? Are you anxious? Are you bored? Are you nervous? Are you those things because you've been telling yourself a story? Is your mind reliving a memory? Is your body in need of some healthy food and water? Do you need to rest? Do you need to move? To concentrate the mind is to focus the mind, but it doesn't have to be narrow. You can ask a question and be very broad about it. And in that spaciousness, let the answers come. Notice what you notice and enjoy a few moments of concentrated reflection. Friends, as we take a step toward the conclusion of this practice today, I'd like to end our practice by simply breathing. Excuse me, taking a moment with deep concentration to breathe in and breathe out. Breathing in, breathing out. One more time. Breathing in, my presence matters. Breathing out, may I show up and make someone's day. All right, you can send me an email, you can write me a letter. I love it. Let's go ahead and end our practice with a dedication of merit. Sit nice and tall. Roll your shoulders up to your ears and roll them back and down. Lift your heart. This is Sada, heart-led. You've shown up here today. You've made my day. You've brought a smile to my face. You've inspired my practice. You've stirred my mind and softened my heart. You keep me going. And I hope that that's mutual as well. I'd like to end our practice by chanting today. We're going to chant the three jewels. In Buddhism, the three jewels are the Buddha. The Buddha is a human being who lived 2,600 years ago, and it is said that he awakened to the causes and conditions of misery in his own life. And his understanding was so complete that he spent 40 years teaching it to anyone who was interested. And this is called the Dharma. These are the teachings of the Buddha. There are thousands of them that have survived and have been translated into multiple language. We're still talking about them to this day, and they're relevant in their wisdom, in their psychology, in their rich, rich, rich contemplation. The Buddha, it is said, considered the Sangha, the community, to be one of the most important things, because when we gather in community, we can challenge one another, we can agree with one another. This is why I said that I can be kind of spicy with some of these ancient teachings because they're not particularly relevant in my contemporary mind. So I'd really want to suss them out. That and so many of these teachings are highly patriarchal. So as a woman, I'm like, hey, I don't really like that. And let's talk about it. And that's really what the Buddha encouraged. Make these teachings come alive in you. Don't take my word for it. Don't take his word for it. See it through in your own life, in your own conditions. So we'll chant and pay honor to these three jewels. The chant's very simple. It goes Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. And we'll chant it 3 times. If you know this chant, you can join me. It's tradition to bring your hands to prayer pose, breathing in. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Thank you so much for your practice today, friends. May you go into the rest of your day radiating the presence of this community, and may it make someone's day that much brighter. See you next time. Namaste.